Shalom. Want to make sure this is up and running. Having a couple errors, but it'll get up there. Looks like we're having more than a couple errors. Whoa. All right. To get it up and running elsewhere. All right. All right. So let's see. There we go. We up and we're good there. Want to say shalom to y'all. As you could tell by the title, we're continuing our regular Shabbat study, going through the book of Proverbs, line by line, word by word. I got all my material up here. And like I said, what we're going to do, we're starting with Proverbs chapter, we're on Proverbs chapter 2 now, and we're going to start at verse 1. And some of the stuff we're using as we go through here is just certain words we might define in the Hebrew, or just define with a dictionary, Other things we just look in other English versions, because Proverbs is very straightforward, and it's a powerful tool to discern, or as I would put, at being a mechanic, to troubleshoot what's going on with yourself. And then you can use some of the tools that the Most High has equipped us with, just meditating on the word, prayer, deliverance, you name it, to fix whatever the issue might be that Proverbs illuminates and sheds light on. So all that to say, Proverbs is a quick way to self-development. Or what I would say, and that's what me saying, is an effective way to develop yourself. So what we're going to do, man, what we're going to do, y'all, we're going to start here. Proverbs. We're in chapter 2 now, okay? And we're going to go through it nice and slow and really savor and marinate the word, meditate on the word, just let it sit there and sink in, okay? So it says, my son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee, okay? And where it says, receive my words and hide my commandments with thee, or within thee, is just what it's talking about. I'm gonna show you is if you go in the Hebrew community, you see a lot of people, they just have memorized a lot of biblical knowledge, a lot of biblical history, prophecy, whatever it is. They've committed, and look at this knowledge, look at this what I found, look at this what I found. And that's all well and good, but until you internalize what the book's saying and begin to let it change and transform you, and how do you let the word transform you? How do you store up the commandments? Because that's what he's saying here. My son, accept my words and store up my commandments. That's what that means there. He said, my son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee. This is the Old English. I'm going to switch this Old English version. Hold on one sec. This is an Old English KJV, and I want to go to the there. All right. But what does it mean to be to let it renew, or what's a step in letting the word renew your spirit? Okay. Is like hide my commandment. Okay, y'all just bear with me. I'm going to a different online book here. But what does it mean to store his commandments, and to have them within you? One way I try to show that to people is when you read this word, a lot of people will read it so that they can hold everybody else to the letter and look at everybody else. But when you read this and you look at yourself and feel through and watch your own behavior, and all right, there we go. It's the same thing. It wasn't the Old English version, but I got another one here, so whatever. Okay. But when you read this word and then you self-reflect and look at yourself to see if you're doing it, that's storing it up in there. That's one way of doing that, of storing it up. Okay? All right, hold on. All right. It says, verse 2, it says, and we're in Proverbs chapter 2, of course. It says, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom, and apply thine heart to understanding. Okay? And again, I gotta go again, like, cause there, and this is the reason I'm reiterating the same thing over and over and over again, is because what you have to do is kick down the door, kick it in of what Catholicism, Christianity, religion has done. When it says, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom and apply thine heart to understanding, it again is really stressing the really to like a deep earnest desire to really get this thing right and realize you're off. Okay. And whatever capacity it is, it's like, man, me personally, yeah, I've come a long way, okay? And trust me, I got a long way to go. But it's a process. But I remember reading Proverbs way back when I was in the Air Force and just not getting a full understanding, not having a full spirit to stay engaged to it, not having any sound leadership or whatever. So I backslid back off into alcoholism and reveling and partying and you name it. But in my heart, I really desired to really walk this thing out. But it's just way back then, all the tools weren't there. You know what I'm saying? But, and as the years progress, more and more gets brought to your attention. And it's like right now, there's a lot there, there's plenty to learn. Okay. That's why sometimes, it's disturbing out here in the biblical community. When I say the biblical, I'm talking about the Hebrew community and the Christian. It's just so many people where spiritual development and stuff like that isn't even a thing that's even on the table. It's just, hey, let's dig deeper and get historical knowledge and biblical knowledge and knowledge. This surface level kind of college history class type knowledge and no spiritual growth, no spiritual development. All right. So that's the big thing. So it says, so let me show y'all something here. Let me pull up something that I showed last week. Make sure I pull it up for this week. All right. And we will let it, okay. So what I got here, what we have here is a wisdom definition that I thought was really conveyed what it's talking about. It says, wisdom is the ability to think and act using knowledge, experience, understanding, common sense, and insight. And the Most High Yah's word gives you all that. Okay? And that's what wisdom is. And a lot of times you need somebody to come and to, be that example, let you know it's okay to operate in wisdom. I mean, I know it sounds crazy when I say it like that, but that's real talk. All right? Okay. So it says, so that thou incline thy ear unto wisdom. Okay? And apply thine heart to understanding, and with a sincere desire to understand, not a desire to, okay, I want to know this so I can, be the all-knowing, this, that, and the other, and all that. You can discern why people have learned what they are learning. Did they learn to lord over people or to be the end all? You run into that with a lot of young people. They want to study up the Bible knowledge real fast so nobody can tell them nothing about the Bible, You see what I'm saying? That is widespread out there, okay? Whereas you have other people, most of the time it's older people, want to actually get understanding. They want to incline their heart to the understanding and everything like that, all right? All right, let's go. It says, yea, if thou criest after knowledge and liftest up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver and searchest for her as for hid treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. So that's that scripture, seek and ye shall find, knock and it will be open. And the fear of Yah is like, as you begin to go deeper into this, as you begin, like me and one of my ox down here in Straitway, Florida down here, and he's older than me. He's in his 50s. But me and him joke, we joke about when we were in 20s. We thought we knew everything. And now here I am in my 40s. I don't know a damn thing. And he say in his 50s, he like, man, he a dumbass. It's like the older you get, the more you know you don't know. And the more you are more inclined to just kind of, you look for understanding, leadership, this, that, the other, you name it. Okay? So, all right. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. It says, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. So when I say the fear of the Lord and the knowledge of God, man, as you get older and you look around, like one of the things you realize is literally every single thing is a trap and one thing is the right way. So if you got 99 things out of 100, one thing is the right way and the right thing to do, and everything else, the other 99, is a trap. You see what I'm saying? Young people don't understand that, and that's wisdom. Now, down here in Straitway, Florida, now we have wise young people, and they're very quiet. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's a good thing, man. When as you begin to go through this book, that's what you begin to see. Okay. All right. Hold on one sec. My feed went down, and I'm trying to get it back up. Okay. So, I got all types of notifications and stuff going on my phone. Hey, if I'm coming in okay over there on Facebook, let me know, because it's not okay over here. Matter of fact, it won't even come up. So y'all just let me know. All right. Yeah, Brother Bernard said to take the American out of the Israelite mindset. Yeah, that's another thing, man. Even reading through here, there's a totally different standard. There's a totally different moral character in the book of Proverbs than what you see today in society. Totally different. So that's a it totally flies in the face of what we got going over here. All right, so but real fast, so that fear of Yah is, as you begin to really get into this on a moral level and change inside, you begin to see how Yah works, and it's real subtle, and it's so normal you can't believe it's him working, because it's like you're like, damn, he's in control of all these little circumstances to show you right to yourself. It's tough. It's tough, man. It's real. And you like, man, he moving smooth like this. He'll take you out quick, fast, and in a hurry, man. It's like, because when you kind of, I ain't gonna say ease into it, but when you don't fight the way he's moving, and you go with the way he's moving, which is Torah, which is what he laid out, his righteous word. When you begin to flow with that, you begin to see the way he works. And I'm just saying, it's real smooth. It's fearful, though, because it's just so smooth, And that's one of the ways that, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord. It's like, he got it, man. He got this thing under control. And find the knowledge of God, okay? For the Lord giveth wisdom. Out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding, okay? And this is the knowledge and understanding. It's written right here, All right? He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. And the righteous is somebody who, righteousness is not sinning. It's keeping his laws, statutes, commandments. That is righteousness. Walking in that. All right? So look, let me go. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. And a buckler, I'm going to show you a picture of a buckler real quick. This is a buckler. Let me show you a picture of it. It's a small shield. That's a buckler. It's a shield, excuse me, for when you're fighting. It's not a defensive shield, a full shield, because a full shield's for defense. It's more of a kind of offensive shield for like parrying when you're in the fight. All right, so let me see. All right, let me put it up here so it's bigger. I already had it up there. So these are bucklers, okay? And it's like ting, ting. Now, the shield in a spiritual sense, when you like the sword of the word, where it says gird yourself up, that shield, that's a defensible shield that they would put over when the arrows would fire, and that's the shield of faith. The wisdom is like a buckler, okay? And you can kind of see just by the way that guy's dressed, the way he's going to use that. He's going to use that when he's in a sword fight. He's going to use that to the wisdom. The word is a sword that's going to cut, stab, go on the offense, you know. And the shield is to parry. Parry just means somebody tries to stab you and you use the wisdom of that buckler to deflect that shot off to another direction. So, all right. So anyway, let's go back to what we were just reading over here. I could, all right, let's see. All right. Put this up here. It says, for the Lord giveth wisdom. No, it says he layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. So when you're walking according to the word, and then, for instance, like I've been telling y'all, like it tells you, be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. I've went through all them verses that show you how to deal with authority and law enforcement and all this stuff like that. You know, agree with your adversary while you be in the way and all that. And understanding all that, that's a buckler. Because when here you are, you didn't come into the presence of these damn murderers that they call law enforcement, enforcing Satan's law or something. But you didn't come into the presence, of these people, and you need to use your buckler to deflect, which is wisdom, to discern what angle they're coming from, you know, to agree with them while you be in the way, you know. Don't contend with those who have the power to kill you, you know. That's a buckler, okay? That type of knowledge and biblical wisdom, applying it. And that's why he says, he layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous, right? So hold on, let me show you something real quick. Boom, boom, boom. All right. There. So look at this one. This is the one outside, because I don't want to miss one. It says, it's Sirach Ecclesiasticus. I'll put it, I can put it over here so y'all can see it. It's Sirach Ecclesiasticus, chapter 9, verse 13. Keep thee far from the man that hath power to kill. So shalt thou not doubt the fear of death. And if thou come upon him, make no fault, lest he take away thy life presently. Remember that thou goest in the midst of snares, and that thou walkest upon the battlements of the city. So it's just showing you how to deal with law enforcement, with supervisors, with bosses, with authority figures, you name it. With this wicked ass government that's getting judged right now. You know, this nation. You see judgment coming on. Let y'all judge him. But it says, it shows you that's a buckler to a young man who might get pulled over by a police officer, or somebody might come knocking on their door. That's a buckler so that you can survive. Okay? So anyway, it says, is a butler to them that walk uprightly. It says, he keepeth the paths of judgment and preserveth the way of his saints. Okay? So you understand that. You see what I'm saying? He keepeth the paths of judgment and preserveth the way of the saints. Okay, which is us, his chosen, his elect. And here's a better way. He protects the paths of justice. And there's a verse that backs that up. It says, when a man's ways please Yah, he will make even his enemies to be at peace with him. Okay? So if you abiding by this, you're walking according to this right here, even your enemies will be at peace with you. Okay? Because you're going to be dealing with them with your buckler. You're going to be using wisdom. Like I said, when that one cop, that big cop, traffic cop, pulled me over, and he was trying to not intimidate me, but he was, I forget what the word is, but he was trying to get me to, he was trying to provoke me into mouthing off and getting smart with him. And I just used the word like a buckler. I was like, yes, sir. No, sir. Didn't give him anything. He's like, okay. He's like, you're in the Air National Guard over there? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay. Well, this is a warning. Here, I thought I was going to get to kill you today. You know what I'm saying? That's what that spirit really was, man. But, all right. So let's keep it moving. All right. All right. He keepeth the paths of judgment and preserveth the way of his saints. Then shalt thou understand righteousness and judgment and equity, yea, every good path. Okay? So, it's saying it again. Once you internalize this stuff and you get it in your heart and you really see where you're off in it or whatever, then you're going to really get it. Okay? It says, then shalt thou understand righteousness. And like I said, righteousness is the law, statutes, commandments that the Most High Yah has laid out in Torah. All this book here, Proverbs, all this book is more or less a detailed, microscopic breakdown of Torah. Okay? And it further digests Torah and breaks it down so you could absorb the nutrients of Torah into your body. You could understand it better. So that's why I encourage people to study Proverbs and do a self-reflection to get some serious spiritual growth, even myself. All right, so let's see. All right, so you got that there. It says, when wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee. Understanding shall keep thee. Okay? And I'm learning that. I'm growing in all this stuff too, like I said. But let's break that down. Discretion. Okay? I'm a hit it with a couple definitions because the actual word is to have a thought, devise, plan, consider, purpose. Okay? And this is the Hebrew.
Strong's H2161. Zamam.
So that's the word for it. Okay? I don't even know. Y'all couldn't even hear. I don't know. Let me see if y'all could hear that.
Strong's H2161. Zamam.
All right. So anyway, that's just the Hebrew word for it. And it basically to have a thought, devise, plan, consider, purpose. Slow down, and let me see. Let me pull up this other. And then here's another definition of discretion. And it's just thinking, patience, and moving wisely, okay? Speaking wisely. And I'm learning, man, especially here with this show and all this stuff like that. You're in a crash course of learning discretion. So here's another definition here on, it says the quality of behaving or speaking in such a way as to avoid causing offense or revealing private information. Okay? So it's kind of being, another word they might use for it is being diplomatic. You probably heard that one. All right, so let me show you this too. All right, it says, let's see. So it says, and this is another kind of a more Englishy Bible version to kind of say what the verse before this was saying. It says, when wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul. Okay? And this is a point you need to get to. You could tell people that this ain't the case with them. How you gonna know? Just by their fruit, how they move, how they're operating. You know, it's not, this stuff ain't a secret. It's like, it's not hard. The hard part is overcoming the will because you've been doing stuff the wrong way for so long. Okay? So yeah. Somebody asked, so wisdom is knowledge, understanding, and protection. And that's good. But the way I am, I like to really thoroughly define stuff to the lowest common denominator so there's no confusion. So I got this, the definition that I feel really hits wisdom. It says wisdom is the ability to think and act using knowledge, experience, understanding, common sense, and insight. Okay? And I like that. I was looking around for definitions of wisdom and stuff like that in accordance to, as you read through Proverbs, you're going to have a thorough definition of wisdom, because literally what we're studying here in Proverbs chapter 2, heck, the first, I want to say 6 books or 6 chapters of Proverbs is basically telling you to get wisdom. It's like something like that. But these, definitely the first 2 chapters of Proverbs are telling you the importance of getting wisdom. How, and that the Most High has put it in this book. And it's just, you know, if it's stressing it like that, you know it ain't widespread today in society. You know, a lot, again, what I've seen a lot in the Hebrew, out in the Hebrew community is just a lot of philosophy teachers and a lot of history teachers. It's like going to college classes. Oh yeah, this happened in this year, and this happened, and this happened, and this, and I've memorized. Well, if you take this scripture and do this, this, that, and other, and there's, the whole book is pointing you to spiritual growth, spiritual development, patience, long suffering, all this stuff like that. But you don't really, it's hard to find that being taught anywhere. Anything pushing you to grow spiritually. A lot of it is just, okay, I got to memorize this, that, and the other. So, yeah, man. All right. So that's just my way of defining wisdom. But I'm going to tell you, man, you read through Proverbs and self-reflect doing it, and you're not going to make it in far before you realize, hey, I need to stop and do some work in this area. And then if that didn't make it perfectly clear, Sirach, the book of Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha is like, the Apocrypha is like Proverbs on steroids. It breaks it down even further, into little, and reiterates the same stuff that Proverbs is saying. All right. So let's see what we got here. All right. So discretion shall preserve thee. Okay? is going to preserve you. What? Being discreet, like taking your time, watching, you know, and preserve is maintain something in its original or existing state. Okay, so you won't decline, fall off, boom, boom, boom. You understand? All right. And like I said, discretion, the quality of behaving or speaking in such a way, so being diplomatic on how you move. Now that's not saying walk around here every single day, oh, well, that means I gotta talk, like a soft spoken, Disney gayfer or something like that, No. Sometimes you gotta come straight down the middle. I mean, Christ, he walked this thing out, and he went up in there with the money changers and gave them what they needed, gave them that business, So don't get caught up in the Greco-Roman beast system, Catholic Christian manipulation of all this. Oh, don't hurt anybody's feelings ever. Don't get caught up in that. That's not what that's saying. But you got to consider before you move, okay? And that's powerful. Like I needed to hear that scripture, all right? So it says that discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee. All right? To deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things. So what's froward? Froward is like difficult or whatever thing. So let me see. All right. And like I said, man, you get out here. Let me see. Boom, boom, boom. I put that up here. And I've defined that before to y'all. Let me see if I got it. I'll just put it up here. And I'll read another version. But froward, of a person difficult to deal with, contrary, And like I said, that there, and there's another verse that I had to implement at my job with my supervision, because brothers, I'm telling you, I was having a difficult time with some of the supervisors, and I kept going against them and fighting my supervision, all that, all through my military career. So here we go. We're going to go to that 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 18 through 21. Froward means difficult. Here, I'll put it up here. Difficult to deal with, contrary. Okay? And a lot of times, people might be difficult to deal with. And what I found, a lot of times, it's me. It ain't them. It's just like behaviors in me that I haven't realized that I need to deal with. And that's what happened at my job, man. And right near the very end of my career, right before I retired, I got it. I realized it. I 1 Peter chapter 2'd it, and everything turned around, and I was at peace. I had favor on my job. So here we go right here. And that's why I was saying the fear of Yah, because I realized it was Yah using, because I realized, I was like, are these people, do they talk behind my back? Because like everybody's acting the same wherever I go, And I realized it was just Yah hardening their foreheads against my hard ass forehead. And then it broke, And I got myself right. So here it is. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 18. Servants, be subject to your masters, or you could redo this as supervisors or people with authority over you. It says, servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the froward. For this is thankworthy. If a man for conscience toward God, towards Yah, endure grief, suffering wrongfully, for what glory is it, if when you be buffeted for your faults, you shall take it patiently? But if when you do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable with Yah. For even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example. Think ye should follow his steps. Okay? That ye should follow his steps. Okay? And the definition of froward I got right there. Difficult to deal with, contrary. And it didn't say the person is difficult. It said they're difficult to deal with. It didn't say whether it's them or you that's that's causing that. Man, bro, look. Hey, look, people could go into all the deep stuff they want in this Hebrew thing, but man, that is a hard saying right there. Like, that's a hard one when you getting it. You know what I'm saying? Trying to go through that and feeling that your throat's pulsating because you're like sitting there enduring and you feel like you wasn't right and it's like that. Man, the big old facts. Put a 100 up in there if any of y'all understand what I'm talking about right here. Cause that's the real talk, man. The way I put it, man, a lot of people just can't sit still when they getting cut. It hurt getting cut. That's all I'm saying there. Yeah, I see y'all. See y'all put it in there. Y'all hitting that like, all right. All right. So, let's, what do I need? All right. So we gonna, it's real, man. The strong silent type, man. That's the direction I'm moving where, hey, you got that James Bond type spirit, James Bond turned up, but what was his normal demeanor? It's sitting there chilling, man. Sitting there chilling. You know what I'm saying? That type of spirit. Most people don't have that, especially look, dudes have that. They'll kind of go along with a wife or some woman or somebody who's not ordained in a position of authority over them or whatever. They'll be like, even if it's froward and off or whatever, but then you get a person of authority over them and it's just constant, friction. Y'all, I'm telling you, man, it's not a game. All right? It's not a game, y'all. All right. So let's keep it moving. Let's move forward. All right. All right. So what we just went through, really, we got all the meat off the bone is, was with Proverbs chapter 2, verse 12. To deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things. Okay? Who leave the paths of unrighteousness to walk in the ways of darkness. Okay? And let me say this again, because I kind of went off just breaking down the word froward, but it says to deliver thee from the way of the evil man. So this verse is talking about an evil person. Out there in religiosity land out there in Christianity and all that, there are a lot of evil people. They literally are teaching the perfect opposite of the Bible. And what it's saying here, from the man that speaketh froward things. And this is a man who speaks stuff that hurts your feelings in a way that pricks you and don't make you feel good. You've been conditioned by religion and Disney World to think, and I'm saying that on purpose, by Disney cartoons to think that dude, the villain in every Disney movie always exhibits biblically masculine traits. Isn't that crazy? He not letting no woman manipulate him and all that, and he off in one area, but they paint him as the villain. And the good guy in almost every Disney movie exemplifies soft, feminine, emasculated, castrated traits. Okay? Almost always. And you've been brainwashed. And then you go to church and you see these pork chop eating, feminized, castrated, emasculated preachers up there, and they further drill that into your head. And then you get married, and you're just repeating what you've been programmed with from a youth. You know that you feel like, if you stand up and speak up and come down the middle, you feel like an evil person. But it's really book. It's really biblical. It is so crazy how upside down everything has been turned to where when you come down the middle, literally, you could book everything you're saying biblically and people feel it's evil. Okay? And like I said, man, over here, Spiritual Combat, we got the hurt feelings reports on drip. I got them right. You see how quick I can pull it up, and y'all can download it and fill it out. Go, hey, you're going to get your feelings hurt. We don't worship feelings over here. Now, we consider it. We're considerate of them. And I'm learning to be use more discretion with the things how I move and operate. It's a growing process. But anyway, so let's get back to this. Let's not get too far. It says to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things. And again, froward, evil people speaking contrary things that's soft. All right. Who leave the paths of unrighteousness. So that's how you're going to know if it's an evil person. Like if it don't line up with book, it's off. If somebody line up with book and they walking it out, I'm following. It's on. Period. To walk in the ways of darkness. And I'm telling you, man, it's widespread out here. People are, one of the biggest ways that I see people taking people astray and got them walking in darkness is in this time where people need to be preparing. People need to be doing stuff to protect themselves. People need to be preparing and doing all this stuff, even though it's inconvenient and it could be a little stressful and it don't feel good to consider. Oh, I gotta get this, I gotta do that, I gotta learn. It might not feel good, but it's something that needs to be done. And there's a lot of people out there that just, because they know it's easier, you're going to get bigger numbers or whatever if you just tell the people, hey, yeah, I got you. Don't worry about these crazy people. They don't trust in Yahuwah. That's why they're trusting in man and doing stuff their own way. Just trust Yah. He got you. Come here, give me your money, and you'll be okay. And you see, like even your common sense is telling you, hey, maybe I do need to move away from my neighbor. because he come out the house twitching, looking like he in the Thriller music video. Like that, because this is Thriller. If he don't get his medication, you gonna think it's Thriller out there in your daggone neighborhood, because them mother's gonna turn into zombies. They was like doing that Thriller dance out there, and you gonna be in your house. You ain't gonna have nothing. It's gonna just be a sad state of affairs, man. So it's like being a prudent person, prepare. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. All right, so let's so who rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of the wicked. Okay, so some people gravitate to that. Whose ways are crooked, and they froward in their paths. Okay, these are the evil. To deliver thee, here we go. To deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words. Okay, these manipulative women, these shiesty, manipulative women, that nobody, no, she's my Christian queen, that they worship. They never bring, look, if you even push any of these ministries out here, hey, well, what about this when a woman is rebellious, this, that, and the other? When you do that, they will literally, their response will be something along the lines of, well, what about you? Are you doing the so-and-so and so? Literally. And when you get a response like that, they should see the back of your ashy elbows going like this, running up out of there. Because, I'm telling y'all, some of y'all know, some of y'all have seen it. You present a question, hey, what do we do? How do we deal with rebellious women? Like what do we need to do to deal with them? Or my wife don't listen, or this, that, and other. Well, are you listening to y'all? You need to serve y'all better. And the women be like, tell them, Pastor. I'm telling you, anything to get them heads going. It's widespread out here. It says to deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her mouth. Okay? That's that, let me see what we got. So look, we're going to break it down into the English, okay? Because it's written, it's saying this is what wisdom is going to do. It's saying wisdom will rescue you from the mysterious woman, from the foreign woman with her slick words, okay? Like them women would be like, yes, master. And then you ring them up. I ain't doing nothing. This, that, and the other. Whatever. And you like, wait, man, I didn't see none of this. No, wisdom, you'll be able to discern that big mouth monster. So, somebody put another breakdown, another version. The ESV, it says, so you will be delivered from the forbidden woman, from the adulteress with her smooth words. That's good. Ooh, that was a dagger breakdown on that thing. So somebody said the woman also represent churches. Yeah. But let me see something here. You could say that. That's good, but I would, me over here with Spiritual Combat and with the counseling I hand out, I hear brothers' war stories on the regular. And I'm telling you, brothers is constantly like the typical narrative I hear is like, man, if I knew now what I knew then, I would have never messed with. Like you hear they war stories and regrets, cause what? They got manipulated. They got manipulated by the woman with her smooth, slick words, by the forbidden woman. Okay? The woman that Yah would not have them with. Why? Because they didn't use wisdom. They're using that lust. They're looking at them curves. They're looking at, they wasn't thinking, be righteous. They like put seed in that. That was the only thing they could think of. And she was like, shit, you know, and they wasn't in a rational mind, like discerning what's going on there. Okay. All right. So that's how I come at it. But yeah, you could use it as church, but I like to keep it basic and do the surface level understanding of the scripture first. And then if the scripture lets me, I'll reinterpret it into something else, but I'm not gonna, I don't want to go on here and say, yeah, so this is a type of woman, or this means woman. No. Or this, I don't want to get on here and say, oh, this means church. No, this is a real commonplace thing going on here in verse 16, Proverbs chapter 2, verse 16. This is a widespread thing. This is the norm out there. Dudes getting seduced by women because they lusty. You know what I'm saying? So they miss the fact that she's strange and she flat, which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forget the covenant of her God. For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. And the reason why I say that to your brother Steve is because if I read this on the surface level, I've experienced this growing up, a lot of death surrounding relationships with people I know that's been in my life. I watch a lot of men lose their minds, known a lot of people who've committed suicide over women, know people who've murdered. I know I've seen women lose their minds and go crazy in relationships and all that. So, like I said, I've experienced the literal surface level meaning of what's being broken down here in all this. All right, so let's keep going. Let's see what else it says. It says, for her house inclineth unto death. So a lot of y'all, man, you can mess with the wrong woman and it'll be you didn't know it was going to be, that was going to be the death of you, Okay. Okay, let me see. All right. None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life. Man, I'm telling you, man. Like I said, I've seen this type of thing before. I've seen dudes ruin their whole life dealing with one chick, that thou mayest walk in the way of good men and keep the paths of the righteous. Okay. All right. So let's go to 20. It says, so you should stay on the path of good people, guarding the road of the righteous. Okay. For the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. Says, but the wicked shall be cut off from the earth. And what's the wicked? The unrighteous, people who are not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, people who are not walking according to the laws, statutes, and commandments. And like I said, with relationships, marriage, all that, any issue in marriage, relationship, anything like that, the Bible has made provision for. It is made quick, simple, straightforward answers, solutions for dealing with all this stuff. And then there's everything else. But a lot of people don't have the faith, or you might want to word it, they don't have the courage to follow through with the answers and solutions that the book has for these crazy situations. A lot of people end up getting cut off over that thing. All right. It says, but the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgressors shall be rooted out of it. Okay. So, and we'll read it in others. It says, but the wicked shall be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be ripped up. Okay. So yeah, but I definitely see where Brother Steve, where he's getting that from, where it could represent a church or religious organizations or some type of spiritual leadership. Also, I get that too. I see that there, where if you get it in the context. But it's absolutely practical also. Yeah, so V's put in the ESV version, it says, for the upright will inhabit the land, and those with integrity will remain in it. But the wicked shall be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be rooted out of it. Okay? Let me see what we got going on. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, y'all. That was just going through, but, and what? Let me see. And like I said, what we're doing, we're going through, and we just went through Proverbs chapter 2, verse by verse, just one verse at a time. And like I've been saying, the way to go through Proverbs is just to consider each verse, and like the way a lot of people will do, they'll read Proverbs and look out at other people and stuff like that. But when you self-reflect as you read through it, man, you turn your life around real fast. You get your relationships in order. Just like been studying a lot about diet and eating, and when you begin eating the right food, you allow your body not even to heal itself, to regenerate itself. But because we eat the wrong foods, the body's so busy dealing with what was consumed, it doesn't have time to regenerate itself. When I say regenerate, literally remake the damaged cells and this, that, and the other. It doesn't have time to. Same thing spiritually. When you making the wrong relationship moves, when you making the wrong moves dealing with people, and you're not thinking the right way, you involved with the wrong women, and you're dealing with the wrong people, and operating the wrong way. Hey, shalom, Brother Rob. But when you're dealing with people the wrong way and not operating correctly, and just constantly getting in bad relationships and all that, you don't have time to regenerate yourself. It's just like consuming the wrong food, you know? So you need sound wisdom. So check this out real quick. In verse 7, Proverbs chapter 2, verse 7, I want to show you this. It says, he layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk upright. You remember I broke that down. And in the Common English version, it says, he reserves ability for those with integrity. He is a shield for those who live a blameless life. So integrity, when you sincerely operate in this way, whereas you got other people, there's an agenda or whatever. So, but look at this, all right? It says he layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. And righteousness is just operating according to the Torah. All right. And sound, I like the third one of this because there's a lot of definitions of sound, but this is the definition meant by what was just read here. That's the definition of sound. Sound wisdom. So free from injury or disease wisdom, or free from flaw, defect, or decay type of wisdom. Or this is a real good one. Solid, firm, stable wisdom. That's what's in the book of Proverbs. That's what we getting ready to get into as we go through this chapter by chapter study on Proverbs. Is solid, firm, stable wisdom to deal with stuff that life is going to put in front of you, whether it's dealing with women, with friends, with co-workers, relationships, anything you could encounter in life. There's going to be solid, firm, stable. This is how you do this, you do that. If this, you do that. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? So let me and it's like that verse comes to mind where it says the word of Yah is useful, is good for hold on. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not gonna be able to find the scripture right now, but it says the word of Yah, and I'm not gonna quote it perfectly, but Yah will know the scripture I'm talking about. It says the word of Yah is useful for doctrine, for correction, for reproof, so that the man of Yah can be thoroughly equipped, to walk this thing out, basically. And I think I know the scripture I'm talking about, but it's real talk. You know what I'm saying? And that's how, I go through it, but yeah, that's what you got here is this solid, firm, stable, you're going to be good. Now, you're going to go through it a little bit, all this stuff don't come magically like a Disney happily ever after thing. It's an ongoing battle, But it says, the Lord is a man of war. Yahuwah is his name. You know what I'm saying? So it's about that action. It's about combat. It's about that warfare. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we made it through there. That was the Proverbs chapter 2 study. And like I said, I'm diligently and in a disciplined way go through all these, go through this whole book. Let's see what time I might be able to get through another book. Let me see. Let's see what we got here. Not sure. And like I said, I think we're gonna do that. All right. So, all right. But that is the study of Proverbs chapter 3. I'm gonna conclude this one, and I'm gonna come right back on again in about a minute and we're going to go through Proverbs chapter 3 because what you're going to find as we go through Proverbs, it gets more and more sharper. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to really feel it in Proverbs chapter 3. It's just going to keep reiterating the same thing. And because the Bible can't yell at you, they have to repeat it. Okay? So that concludes Proverbs chapter 2 study. And I'm coming right back with Proverbs chapter 3 study.